Gina Chumexi here, your favorite psych practitioner. Where on this internet street I make it okay for you to not be okay on some of those days, and where I talk about should I go, should I stay, where I help you realize that you need to out of that stuck mode with that dusty and help you elevate, heal, and continue to elevate after healing so you have a more holistic life. Checking out my shirt here, feminine shirt I just got. So in today's video, we're gonna dive right into it to weigh the dynamic men and women when it comes to deadbeat, upset dads and the impact on the children, how it reflects on both men and women dynamics in toxic relationships, and how to recognize the signs.
So y'all, this video is a little rough. I'm gonna keep it hot and ready with y'all. It's 10:59 p.m. as you can see on the camera right here. You see the time above me. But apparently, allegedly, this man is dropping his son off at the doorstep of his baby mama's house or ex's house and just is getting ready to like pull off with him still sitting outside. Like, I've seen conflicting things about she's at work, she's not at home, or he just didn't want to call her to wake her up. But this is kind of wild. So I'm gonna play. I warned you. I warned you, right? Just you're gonna get angry.
Here. Here. Sit down right there.
Like, set him right there on the porch.
Bye. Call your nana. Call your mom. You got your mom? Who's that?
He said, call your mama.
Call mom. Bye.
Like 11 o'clock at night.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Ow, what are you doing?
It's gonna hurt y'all.
You can't wait. No!
Like, look at this. The little man just walking upstairs by himself. Now, I've heard, in a real life situation, it would seem like the mom posted this because this is her house, right? That's what it seemed like. The mom posted this because this is her house in the middle of the night. And again, I've read some conflicting things in different comment sections. Some people said she's at work, and you can hear him on the camera saying somebody's at work, but it's 11 o'clock at night, and he's about to leave his son on the doorsteps by himself with nobody around, like no acknowledgement from the son's mom or whatever the case may be in this situation. That's rough. I think we can all agree that that right there is just is rough as hell, right? Regardless, because I saw a comment earlier that said, like, I don't even drive off with my adult friends until they get in the house. So leaving your toddler son out there, they can talk, but how do you know if you drive off, nobody's going to come to the door?
I think one of the worst excuses that any man can give about why he didn't raise his child is that his father wasn't there, so he didn't really know how to be a father. Changing a diaper, that is completely out of his realm of knowledge. He cannot figure that part out. The reality is that no mother or no father ever knew how to be a parent. When they had their firstborn child, they just figured it out in the moment. Some people have more help than others. Like, some people's parents come over, they may teach you how to change a diaper. They may teach you a couple things about how to raise a child. But every child's going to be different. Every situation is going to be different. And it's going to be things that you're just going to have to learn on your own. No father is the perfect father. No mother is the perfect mother. Parenting is not a perfect job. We talk about winging it at work. There are so many parents that are winging it, that are actually trying their best to be good parents. You put somebody in a position, the mother, in a position where now she has to figure it out by herself. You put that child who didn't even ask to be on this earth in a position where in the future they grow up without a parent, without a second parent, And you know what? One day they may say the same excuse that you made, unfortunately, and then put somebody else through the hardships of raising a child by themselves.
So I play that to say that a lot of the dads, as much as society, highly educated fathers, many maybe might not necessarily be married, but a majority are also married. They consciously made the choice to be with women, consciously made the choice to lay down with women, to make babies. But then at the end of the day, the conditioning, society, in their minds, makes it okay for some reason, make it make sense. But conditioning, especially for those men who, when they were boys, were not really thought, even if you didn't have the example, but were not thought or exposed to the fact that being a dad is a conscious decision you made to lay down with a woman. You made the child who didn't ask to be here. They're innocent. Working on putting your ego aside and doing the best you can to be hands-on, not just providing monetary support. I get it. There's a lot of families that maybe the deadbeat is deadbeat and not even providing financial support at all. But make it make sense how you're providing 50% of the bills to raise the children. The woman is the one doing all the hard labor, the mental labor, the day-to-day rinse and repeat, day-to-day rinse and repeat. And we have this weekend dad, Instagram dads. We have this occasional dad. I choose and pick when I show up dad. I don't respect your dad, your boundary dad. I'm gonna make a conscious decision to disrupt your life, even though I don't want to be with you anymore. I've gone on to be with a whole different family that I've started, but I'm going to constantly drag you to court, not do the right thing, not support financially, emotionally, spiritually. And then there are a group of people who say, okay, yeah, you're blabbing, you're bitter, whatever. I take this always from the standpoint, not just from personal experiences. Yes, a touch of personal experience makes it more relatable because I walk and breathe what it feels like to be a single mom that you didn't expect. Some of these men, they get into it, and we're gonna not talk a lot about the switch up, especially the switch up that happens once you have babies with a lot of these men who are traumatized, being traumatized as kids and unwilling to sway from the mental conditioning that's presented to them as men, or what's valuable, what's manhood supposed to look like. It doesn't look like being hands-on with your children consistently. And so they choose and pick, and not to mention the dads that are neglectful, abusive. And abuse is not always physical. It's the neglect, the emotional distancing, the gaslighting, the sometimes even teasing of the women, even the children, comparing physique, comparing appearance, weight, different things. They shame the children, cause them more trauma than they're supposed to have. So if nobody shows you, you're enlightening 2025, even if you say outside of education, and some of these men are highly educated too. Many of them might have, big positions on the outside. They present well. People be like, oh, not that man. No, he's a great man. He's a philanthropist. He's kind. He's caring. But behind closed doors, you don't know how that person shows up as. I've seen it personally with friends, with family, and also in my line of work as a psych nurse practitioner, where I see many women, a few men are part of my client base, but majority are women struggling. Most of the time, the struggle, the anxiety, the depression, the sadness, the paranoia, all this is the substance use, the lack of ability to maintain work and finances, the women struggling behind the scenes to keep it together, the punishment that comes. Some of these men with the mentality of wanting to punish women that they don't want to be with, they choose to leave and create a broken home and continue to create broken homes, and unwillingness for them to go to therapy and do the healing, the reflection, and hold themselves accountable And also their boys holding each other accountable, the absence of that at all. Like, that's not, they will have this mindset of punishing you or even planning to get you unalive because you are speaking up, because many of the people around them or the women around them enable the behaviors because society condones some of this behavior, like, oh yeah, like, he's a man of good standing, how dare you, you are lacking respect, you're lacking humility, you were not raised well, how dare you. But here you are trying to hold the fort for you and your children in absence of consistent support, financial consistent support, emotionally consistent support, physically consistent disregard, all the things. So if nobody has shown you, why don't you make the conscious decision to do it different? Because you've seen firsthand how that feels like growing up, especially some of these men who also grew up in single family household, to make it a point that you are going to choose to do differently, to work towards your nuclear family differently than your parents did, than your uncle did, than your grandfathers did. But yet they perpetrate this type of behaviors over and over and over. And I'm going to tag here that dad who dropped off his son, and it like literally my heart dropped into my gut, because I have a son similar age, and to think about a bitter dad that's trying to punish this woman. I don't know the backstory fully, but that still does not that's not justified at all. Hearing that little boy crying, where are you going, dad, leaving you? And that's physical. That's the minority of the cases that we are showing. Kudos to the woman who showed this. Obviously, most likely that's her home at 11 o'clock at night, and you think it's okay to leave that child there and not call the mom and say whatever is going on. You can't put your ego aside and what differences is happening between you and the mom to make sure that this child is handed off. And some of these men will do that out of their own ego and bitterness and anger and unresolved conflict and traumas, but then take it out completely on the woman they have the children with. And that's the thing that baffles my mind when people say, why don't you just choose better? No, yes, you choose better, because a lot of these men bring their representatives, and sometimes it's not just during the dating phase. They will choose to marry you, lay down with you, have babies with you, talk sweet nothings. That's this dark psychology of it. Future faking with you, keeping your hope going, breadcrumbing you along the way. And then all of a sudden, once they start to, a lot of times, like in my country, they say sikani bema. So once they start making some good money, they start to switch up, turn around, and become controlling, freaking, demanding, domineering their way or no other way. Literal, narcissistic. But these are things that I talk about on my channel to normalize the fact that we are not alone, and it's a collective effort as men feminists. Back in the days, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmother's time, they couldn't even hold a bank account. So hopefully in the next generations, with some of these open discussions of what it looks like to be with men like that, and hopefully we can start to raise our sons differently, and hopefully for the next generations to start to improve. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section on this particular topic. Okay, bye. Love you.
We always talk about bitter baby mamas, but we never talk about bitter ass baby daddies as if they don't exist. Baby daddies that's so bitter that you're no longer giving them cookies, access to your life or your time or your energy no more, and they take that as a reason to not see their kid. Bitter baby daddies. He bitter because you didn't get rid of the kid. Well, you should have known that you was obligating all that. He bitter. He bitter, he couldn't control the situation. You decided to have a kid that he didn't want, and he can't get over it. So now that bitterness refuses to allow him to be a father to his motherfucking child. We always talk about bitter baby mamas. We never talk about bitter baby daddies because we think men can't be bitter, but they can. Every time you see a man ducking and dodging child support, that's some bitter baby daddy stuff. Every time you see a man trying to use kids as a way to access that woman's space, time, energy, and body, and when they don't get it, they don't be around the motherfucking kids, bitter baby daddy shit.
And don't be manipulated by the dads that do just enough to satisfy themselves and their child mentally. So if you have a young child, there's never a time that it's okay to talk bad about their dad to them, because they don't understand. They will never understand until they understand. When they're young, their dad is Superman to them. So there's no point in sitting around complaining about what their dad don't do, because some dads will do just enough that the kid is happy and satisfied and will always say, well, at least my dad took me to the park. Well, at least we went here for a day for my birthday. Or my dad bought me this back in 2022 and it's 2025. But a kid will never understand that when you go and play on a football team, your mom paid for that. Your kids don't understand that when you outgrow your sneakers and new ones appear in your room, your mom paid for that. When you get new clothes, your mom went and got that. So they'll never understand that their mom is doing 95% of the work and dad steps in and does maybe 5%, and it satisfies him too, because even if he's doing just a little bit, like under bare minimum, it's good enough for him to say, oh, so I don't do nothing. And you can't say, oh, you don't do nothing, because you did just do this last year, or you did buy him, or you did buy him a Roblox gift card for his birthday. So you can't say he don't do nothing, but you know he really don't do nothing when it comes to the bigger realm of taking care of a child. You know that. He really know that, but he know that he do just enough to be like, oh, I did this. What are you talking about? Oh, I gave you money 2 months ago. 2 months ago? When these kids eat every day? You gave me money 2 months ago? Yeah, don't get manipulated by them type of people either.
I have been released from the shackles of co-parenting, and it was the best day of my life. I am no longer court ordered to co-parent. But I'm going to tell you something a lot of people are not going to tell you. Take his ass to court. Take him to court, because a judge is going to make sure that he has everything in place for that child on his visitation days. I don't know why moms continue to pack clothes, food. I see moms packing food. Like that's crazy to me. As long as you do it, he's never going to do it. And a lot of these fathers are just really glorified babysitters. I mean, why do you not know who your child's teacher is? Why have you never been to any of their activities? It's giving babysitter. And the worst part of it all is there's always a woman in their family, usually their mom or sister, that is basically going to gaslight you into thinking that shit is normal, into saying, well, at least he's doing something, at least he's trying. Parents don't get to try. Real parents have to do out here. We don't get to try to make it happen. We have to make it happen. I'm just glad I don't have to deal with this anymore. But if you are dealing with co-parenting and you haven't been to court, put everything in writing and go to court.
See, this is why I say, and I always try to hold it from both sides. Men's perspective, societal conditioning, mindset, exposure, consistent caregiver presence and teaching to young boys as they grow into young men and to men is so key in how these patterns can show up and not show up as they grow up in their own intimate relationship and even outside of intimate relationships. But it's so important to note here that somebody can present so well dating first few years of marriage, but when you notice the pattern, just like you said, you can get the ring, give them babies, toodle-o, do the things, move, give them all the sex they need, they want, the attention, therapy them, cook, clean, keep the house clean, support their friendship, support their family, do all the things that makes you a good wife. Especially if you come from society where pick-me behavior is normalized, then of course you're going to be picked by majority of this men. But the things when you notice the switch up, when you notice the change that this man start to show you, because now they're showing the true pattern of behavior, it's okay to walk away. Protect yourself, preserve yourself, protect your children as well. When you see the pattern, like a previous take that I made on that dad that dropped off his son who's 6 or 7, obviously that woman probably has seen all the signs along the way with this man not being consistent, not being loving, empathetic, or caring, or accountable, not holding himself accountable, nobody holding him accountable. And he will trample over those boundaries over and over and do more and more and more of it. But that's where you have to pull yourself back, preserving yourself and preserving the next generations. So what he said is right on. All those things don't matter. The ring, the food, the cleaning, but what matters. It's how he presents, how he shows empathy, caring, attention, support, emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually, all of it, financially, consistent financial presence, emotional presence of this man in your life, in the life of your children, is what is key. And if you see the pattern consistently be inconsistently the pattern, that's where you have the decision to make and get out of, should I stay, should I go, should I stay, should I go? No, he's showing you already. If you have to go through his phone, you already have more reason to leave than go through his phone and doing all that mental gymnastics. You can definitely go ahead and get a new certification. Go ahead and get another job. Go ahead and strategize how you can make more money to take care of yourself and your children. That's the point. It took me a whole long while to get here, to unlearn some of this pattern, to unlearn some of this mindset that's been passed on to us, generations and on. As women, we are more loyal in our presentation. We are more hurting. We more want to be together, emotional, caring, supporting. But see, men's way of showing up in love is so different. And love should not really matter too much. Putting your thinking cap on, strategizing. What is the next best action? What's the next best move for you and your children to preserve you? I mean, your mental health, your physical health. And if your mental health is suffering as a woman, as a mother, bet you your children's mental health will suffer too. So that's where the key is. You're honing that courage. Do it afraid and hold it together so you can mentally focus on what is the next best strategy to preserve yourself, to preserve your children, and leave that man alone. Eventually, if you want to seek help and you want to resolve his issues and whatever, fine. But whatever red flag is presenting to you, if you can tolerate that and it's too much for you, maybe it might be a green flag for somebody else. But it might be a good time for you to release that man to the wild, release that man to the woman who might be able to tolerate his nuances. By the end of the day, this is the time to wipe away those tears, to gather yourself from sliding down the walls wherever you are, and buckle up, because once you see those patterns, so long as you can tolerate it, good. But if not, then time to cut out the should I go, should I stay, and start to move right along. You got this. Love you. Bye.